I don't know what a plane's doing flying around at this time of night. I'll never know. It's only a light Cessna type thing. All the models are available, of course, but this is Clipston Old Quarter. It's the 18th of June this evening, and a week ago I came here, covered our old survey route of 6.5 kilometres around this site and recorded approximately 46 female glowworms. I think tonight may be better. Conditions are lovely. Last night at Harlow Wood, 93 glowworms were recorded, so I think this could be a good yomp around, and so I need to get moving. I'll do the same as in the last video, take you through and highlight the areas as we go along. And it started to rain. How nice of it. Well, a patter of light rain, which isn't going to hinder the proceedings, and the rain is forecast to stop anyway. It was forecasted a while ago, but this is the first little drop that we've had, but it's only a light and passing shower. Now, if I can remember all the survey sections and in the right order, that will be something, but I'm currently in section O. That's the first section. Then it's along section L, up section P, back down P, along M, back along M, then up section N, come back down section N, back through section L, and then it's uphill through K and J, along the top path of section F, down section I, back up I and along G, back along G, and down H, back up H, back along F, past the centre tree, through section S, through section E, and then back up J, so we can come down the grass strip sections D, C, B and A. And I don't know how I've remembered all that and in the right order, but we're in O at the moment. No glowworms so far, but still fairly light yet, although they will be glowing now. But in the last video there were signs that the season has perhaps reached a peak. We'll find out this evening. Well, not 5 yards in front of where I've just done that piece to camera is our first female glowworm, and this is a new female. It wasn't here on the 11th. I only had one female on the 11th in section O, so this is a nice little start. And she's low down, right on the edge of the path. There's no male in attendance, so hopefully we'll get an indication of how things are going to go when we get to the end of section O. So a female already. Excellent stuff. It sounds as though it's a better night for Nightjars. Just as I approached the bottom of section O, there was a male churring in front of me, but it has now moved to another location. But anyway, 3 glowworms in section O, and I can tell you that all 3 were new ones, so we're 2 ahead on our count from the 11th. You're looking along section L. I know you can't see it, so it's along here and then up another couple of sections. You've got Nightjar churning away, but you may well have heard the high pitched sort of tick or sip call of a male roding woodcock that's just gone around and off into the distance. This is the best that Nightjar have churred along here this year, at least on the nights I've been up. We have a male just off to the right. What a fabulous sound it is. And they're great birds to see in flight too. It's very much a sound of tropical climates to me, Nightjar. You would never believe, if you didn't know, that it was a bird here in the UK. But of course, it is a migrant species too. And this male's singing really well. But I need to press on. Well, just a quick progress report. Try and not lump too many sections of the survey area in the same clip, but I've come through section L. I've had 5 on the first walk through section L. I then just cut up section P and had 4 up there. And what's quite obvious is that there's a sort of clumping together. You're getting groups of females. Up in section P there were 2 lots of 2, but where I've come through section L there were 4 in quite close proximity to each other. You're looking up section M. I know you can't see a deal of it, so I'm hopeful. Well, I've just started my progress up section M and stumbled across an orgy, as you do. I believe there's actually 3 males with this female, which, in glowworm terms and frequency over the years, isn't particularly unusual. She's right at the edge of the path. There's a male more or less underneath her, one on top of her, and one trying to get into the action on the side, looking away from us as we look now, the one that's moving. So, we're definitely at peak numbers. If we get to good numbers in the grass strip, then we could have a really good total for this site. So we'll leave these 3 to sort themselves out. One of them's going to be lucky. Well, I've come through sections O, L, M, P and N. I'm now just about to start to make my way up section K and then up through J up towards the centre tree. And I can tell you that the running total is approximately 21 females, so we are at or very near to the peak. And more males as well tonight. Has probably had about 8 males already of those females that have checked and suspected that there were males in attendance. So we could have a decent total by the top of section J. This is going to be a promising night, if not a good night. What a fabulous sound. Quick progress report. No glowworms in section K and none in the bottom half of J, but I've just found 2 females, one with a male in attendance. Hopefully things will pick up in the top part of J. In the meantime, have a listen to this jam. It's a great sound to walk to. What an accompaniment. I'm very lucky. Lots of people don't have nightjars near them. Have to drive some considerable distance. I have them virtually on my doorstep. And I've heard this call here on over 1,000 times that I've walked around this place. and you get accustomed to it. You tend to ignore it. I think it's run out of breath. You take them for granted. And I forget that. How lucky I am to have these on my doorstep and serenading me while I'm walking around the forest here. And this is the same male that's covering a big area. There are others close by. Right, on we go. The rest of section J. Well, I've just come up and counted up the number of glowworms up section J. Ended up with 5 in section J with a couple of males. Come along the first part, along the top path, section F. 3 females there, all of which were well off the path under the trees. Then we have this showy female here, who's slap bang right in the middle of the path at the top of section I. That's going to be my next section to go down. But this one is a corker right out in the open. But you can see how bright that light is, lighting up the vegetation that's close by, and you can see a silhouette of her body as she glows, pointing away from us a little bit. From what I can see on the screen, good shot sideways on of the glowing plates. And this one doesn't have those 2 round anal plates that usually glow. They're like 2 spots at the end of the abdomen. This one doesn't have those, or at least they're not glowing. And that was something that we noticed with many females. We had some where only 1 plate would glow, and then others would have almost an extra plate at the top of the set of what I've always likened to false teeth. But yes, no anal plates on this one. And some females don't always glow bright. We used to have quite often each year 2 or 3 females that were always dim and barely glowed at all. In fact, I'm just having a look from above. That top row of glowing plates may not be complete, but she should attract a male, no problem at all. And the squeaky thing is a juvenile tawny owl. So we'll leave this one. Might have another look on the way back. And it's down section I. I'm trying to rush around and disturbing deer at the side of me, but that just makes me out of breath. So 5 minutes to have a quick round up after coming along section F. I then went down section I, and that was like the good old days really, with 9 female glowworms in section I, many of which were well off the path. Had it been the good old days, Dillis had been on the path and I'd have been in amongst the trees, because deep under the trees quite often we used to get good numbers of glowworms, but they gradually started to die out over the years, but seem to be making something of a comeback. So 9 down section I, nothing along section G. I'm now at the bottom and just working my way back up section H, and there's 2 females here. So you get to the top of section H, walk along to the centre tree, and then it's down sections S and E. And a nice warm night it is too. And I'm trying to make progress because moonlight severely interferes with glowworms glowing. They don't glow usually when exposed to moonlight. They'll glow if they're in shade or in the shadow of something away from the moonlight. And I don't want a bright moon to spoil things so far, so on we go. The sound of the muntjac that I disturbed, showing his disapproval of my actions. It would frighten you to death if you didn't know what it was. The sounds of the forest. Well, I thought that section S was going to be disappointing and prove fruitless, but right at the very end there is another cluster of 4 female glowworms present. There were 4 the other night, but in a different section just a little bit further up where I walked past, but 4 within the space of just a couple of square metres, to be honest, including this really nice female that's glowing quite well up some grass at the side of the path here. Years ago, half of section S was incredibly dark. You couldn't see anything. There was no light from the sky because it was all mature pine plantations in this half. And glowworms didn't used to occur along here, but they're gradually starting to encroach along section S from the top of section E. And that's where I'm going down next. In the meantime, we'll have a look at this little beauty. She's a corker. I may see if I can show her front on, because this one might have unusual glowing plates. Unless she turns round. It's the middle plate on that lower section. The 2 anal plates are glowing on this one. We'll have a look, and you can see quite clearly she does have a missing or deformed middle glowing plate on the row of 3. There's about a row of typically 4 on the top row, and then 3 on that bottom, and then the 2 little anal plates, but there's an abnormality in that middle plate. It's the second one that's showing this kind of trait, but say, not unusual. Glowing very nicely. Just working my way down section E, or about 2/3 of the way down, and this is the 10th female down here. Despite there being 10 females, there are large areas of section E that have come through that really did used to be hot spots years ago. But where this one is, we didn't used to get glowworms here at one time. Part of section E was also under dense shade of pine trees and very dark. Glowworms just didn't occur there in that particular section, but over the years they have spread across. But say former hotspots of years gone by, well, this evening and the last evening that I came up here, are relatively barren, or completely barren and devoid of glowworms. I remember coming down section E, and it was the first time we'd ever recorded glowworms in this section, and there were 7 or 8 female glowworms that I came across. A real constellation, as Dillis and I used to refer to groups as, of glowworms, and it looked spectacular. Complete pitch black darkness, and there within a small area of just a couple of meters of track were these glowworms. And this one has a full complement of glowing plates, which are working superbly. Well, that was the flight call of a Nightjar relocating to another part of Clipston Old Quarter. Well, I've come down section E, 12 glowworms in section E, making that the most profitable section this evening. Now I've just come down section D as well, the first part of the grass strip, nothing. I'm not surprised, because we know from the last few years that numbers have declined and hardly showing any signs of making a great comeback here. And I don't expect many either in sections C, B and A, the other three sections of the grass strip. So we're on a total of 57 anyway, which is up on the visit here from the 11th. Whether we can add any more to that total and possibly break 60 remains to be seen. It might be doubtful now, but we'll have a little roundup at the bottom of section A. Well, I'm back at the car now. Didn't add any more glowworms to the 57 that I'd had by the end of section D, and nothing's entirely surprising at all. It's all due to the scrub encroachment of the last few years, and to some extent the works to remedy that and get the grass strip back to how it was, or somewhere near how it was a number of years ago. So hopefully all the work has finished here now. It's just an annual routine of cutting once a year down the grass strip, and maybe glowworm numbers will indeed start to improve and increase. Elsewhere across the site, obviously still doing quite well, although there are areas, clear areas of the rest of the sections where glowworms are struggling and indeed don't appear to be there anymore. Things have definitely changed in terms of glowworm distribution here at Clipston Old Quarter, and it's my job to monitor it in the next few years.